Hello everyone, I welcome you all again to the channel. And as you know, my name is Amod Kumar, and as I promised that I'll be coming with some PYQ videos on how to approach the paper and how to approach the syllabus especially, and how to develop a strategy. So this video is all about evaluating the paper. We will not be concerned with which question and which option should be correct, because this is a very old paper. As you can see, this paper is from 2021 June cycle, I guess. So it was a delayed paper and it happened in November. So in that, the cutoff was in this paper, the cutoff was very low, and I was also one of the students who missed JRF by few marks, and I will tell you why later on. So what you can do also, I'll tell. So the thing is that this paper I'm going to evaluate on the basis of its merit, that how you should approach a particular question, and how, even if you don't know any fact about any question, how you have to approach that question. Okay, so again, first I'll tell you that it is not the question which is tough, it is the options which makes a question tough. So maybe you will find an easy topic in the exam, but the questions, the options will be so close that it will be very difficult for you to choose the correct option. So in that scenario, what you have to do, so I'll be talking about a lot of nature and typical questions which UGC sets, and few more bouncers, how they ask questions based on the pure facts and how you have to approach that. So first we have to develop a strategy to read the examiner's mind, how examiners frame the options. Okay, so as I said, it is not the question which is tough, it is the options which make a particular question tough. And if you are not new here, you must have heard from me that this exam is 50% knowledge and 50% your MCQ skill, because they ask in so much depth that it is not possible to mug up each and every fact, and only on the basis of understanding you will not be able to bypass this second paper. Okay, I don't know about the status of first paper as far as you guys are concerned, but the thing is, in the second paper or the paper 2 history, you have to read the examiner's mind, how he frames a particular option. So here first I'll be discussing about that, like not first, I'll be discussing about the question and I'll tell you how he has framed this option, and accordingly how we have to choose, how we have to read that particular statement, and how we have to decide on that. Okay, because many of you might be lacking this aptitude, and this is a very basic aptitude if you are going to sit in the exam. Second thing is that, which like just now I have discussed, that how you have to approach the exam in paper. So how you have to approach the, means in the exam hall the environment will be different. So here I am telling you, okay, you should decide on this, and you should have known this. So these things are not going to work in the exam hall. So whatever is in your brain, that thing only is going to work in the exam hall. So this evaluation will be done on the basis of a real time example only. Okay, so how your brain will function on real time, so I'll try to stick to that thing. And third thing, you have to know that which part of the syllabus is more important, so that you can maximize your score in the last few days. So you all know that on, I think, 28th or 29th your exam is due for this June cycle. So before that, you try to target a particular portion based on the strategies we will develop here. So this was about the lecture. I have here the history 2021 paper shift 1, and this exam was conducted on 29th of November 2021. This is not my paper. I already mentioned that this I got from one of my friends because I lost my paper. Okay, so I'll come back to the history portion. Just give me a few seconds. Yeah, here. So those 50 questions were from paper 1. You might be knowing that the ones who sit in the exam must know this. So so from here your history paper starts, and I will read the question with you, and also I will make you think about the paper the way I thought in the exam hall, because this paper I attempted. Okay, so here you see that this question says that which of the following statements is true about the stand of Communist Party of India during the India-China War of 1962. So two things are important here whenever you are reading a question. First is whether it's true, it's incorrect. On that terminology you have to focus. That is the basic thing. Second thing here you can see is that I'll read the statements one by one. Okay, here the statements are: one wing of the party supported the Indian government against the Chinese attack. So I don't think there is any problem in this statement. I don't know whether it's correct or not, but for me, I don't know anything about this statement. Okay, second statement is, see, the Communist Party Marxist wing of the party supported the stand of China. I don't know you know this thing or not, but this was a very later development that Communist Party of Marxist was formed. So we will decide on this later on. So it was later, not in 1962. One wing of the party, but there was a rift in 1962. We will talk about that. One wing of the party criticized China as a bourgeois state. Okay, so here there is a paradox. Okay, this statement is itself a critical statement, that one way it is saying that a Communist Party criticizes China as a bourgeois state. How it can happen? So this statement is absolutely wrong. Okay, so this statement, you might not know this. Here the Communist Party wing joined hands with revolutionary elements across the globe. Our communist parties were not so well developed. It was actually controlled from outside world. Okay, so the thing is that these two statements, this is basic understanding. So if you eliminate these two statements, then we have to come to the options here. Okay, so this is the straightforward question. So you have to decide between these two statements. Means it is 50-50 between 1 and 2, statement 1 and 2. Okay, so here I don't see any problem in this statement. Okay, it is and more important thing is, this is a progressive statement, that one wing of the party supported the Indian government. Okay, so for me this is a progressive statement, because at that time we already know that the Communist Party was so criticized because of its rift. Okay, so yeah, so one party was like the Communist Party of Marxist wing of party supported the stand of China. Actually this was not the correct statement. Okay, so if you don't know this, you can go with 50-50 with any statement, but the correct statement is this one, the first one, option A. Similarly, you understood how I have read all the statements. So for me these two statements were absolutely wrong. So I have to decide between 1 and 2, means this was 50-50 question. So for me this was a moderate question. Okay, I will write moderate, for M for moderate, D for difficult, and E for easy. Here you can see again this question is, Ibn Battuta informs that the Sultan had fixed Wednesday for freeing male slaves, Friday for freeing female slaves, and Saturday for for marrying men slaves to female slaves. Identify the Sultan. Okay, here again and again I tell you that you have to read about the sources, you have to read about the foreign travelers, and if you read, you'll be able to know that actually the students who was taught by me in that their master course in Pondicherry University, they know that I again and again I refer the writers from that particular time period. So here for you, like if you don't know like whether Ibn Battuta has given this description or not, okay, but the thing is, only one thing you have to think here is that he was contemporary to Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He was in his court for some time, he was punished, then he was sent as an ambassador. Okay, so the thing is that this is a very a famous kind of fact. Okay, so again for like if they will ask about Jauddin Barni, you can mark Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So the thing is that now you have to relate, like you have to use your peripheral knowledge, how a particular person was standing in that historical time period. So let's get back to third question here. So our third question is about see here again, first thing I have told you to look for is that whether the question is asking for a correct statement or an incorrect statement. So here it is about the correct statement. So in Tamil region, here you can see in Tamil region, right handed and left hand groups were known as Idangai and Valangai. Okay, many of you might have read that, but it is the statement which is like it is confusing actually, and many of you might think that this is the correct, okay, and many of you might think that this is an incorrect statement. But if you have any doubt, you don't have to decide here. Okay, if you don't know, just put a question mark and then come to the second. Both the right hand and the left hand groups included non-peasant caste such as those of artisans as well as higher ranking caste. We don't know. If you don't know, like you can put a question mark here as well. Both the right-handed and left-handed groups usually excluded the outcast, notably the Padayas. So for me, this was actually an easy nature of question. Okay, because see, even if you don't know these facts, whenever there will be an statement related to identification of a particular thing, like not particular thing, two things. Okay, so here they have given the right-handed, left-handed, and they have identified it with Idangai and Valangai. So here these kind of statements are usually incorrect. Okay, and also here I cannot see any problem in these two statements. There is nothing very kind of imposing statements here. So these are not an absolute statement. So in that context also you can see that these might be true. And as I said, wherever you see this kind of description that two things are compared, okay, so those statements are, and the 90% of the time those statements are incorrect. Okay, so for me this was a very easy question. Next question. Oh yeah, here you can see that B and C was correct. So next question is, which of the following Yeah, which of the following officers were known for voter arrangement of their provinces? How many of you have gone through the name of Pushyagupta? So for me, like many of you might know, and I don't know like how many of you know this, but Pushyagupta is associated with the Sudarshan Lake. Okay, so the thing is that this is actually a pure fact. Okay, if you have not read about, and also the thing is that, as I said, the problem is not the question, the problem is option. So here, if I choose B, so I can eliminate only one option. So for me this is a 1/3 question, means the chances for getting correct option is 33.3. so I would suggest you to the questions like this, which is of pure fact nature, you go with all. Okay, so you will see that this logic applies to a lot of questions. Okay, so this is a pure fact question and this is a very less known fact. So the thing is that if it's a pure question, pure fact question and very less known, maybe 3, maybe all 4. Okay, so 1 or 2 like of these will not be correct usually. Okay, so in the 80-90% cases you will see that all of the options are correct in these kind of questions, all of the questions or 3 of these. So here, like if I can eliminate this, so we have only 3, so I could have gone with these 2. Okay, so for me it was a 50-50 question. Obviously this was a difficult question. Next question. Yeah, this one. Jaina Council at Ballavi was presided over by. Who presided the Jaina Council? Many times I told you that again and again you have to read about that Buddhist council, the details of Buddhist council and Jaina council. There were 2 Jaina council and there were 4 Buddhist councils. Go and look for the facts there, and in the Buddhist council also you go and also refer the religious texts which were compiled in those councils. Okay, and the contemporary ruler and who presided over that, and also the time period. Okay, so these facts are important, and this was a pure fact, but this was a very easy fact, so I will categorize this question as easy question. At the end of this lecture I will tell you that how many of these questions were of easy nature, moderate nature and difficult nature. You will get to know that, and accordingly we have to act. Next question again is, which Sikh patriot was tried and executed by British government in 1940? Okay, so here chronology is important. For the murder of Michael O'Dwyer, who was involved in the famous Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So who doesn't know, like he went and he killed a general on a foreign soil. Okay, who was the main perpetrator of that Jallianwala Bagh Hatyakand. So he was Sardar Udham Singh. This is a very popular fact. I don't think you don't know it. If you don't know it, you have to go through the basic facts and basic things. So here, okay, so this question was of very easy nature. Next question here is, after Gwalior campaign in 1232, a commemorative coin was struck to mark the victory, whose name was inscribed on the coin along with that of Iltutmish. So who could be it? This is a very easy question if you know the fact. Okay, so there was a time when Rajia Sultan was made the Sultan between 1236 to 40. Okay, and if you don't know about Iltutmish, he actually loved his daughter and he trained her to be a ruler. Okay, so this was instance when he actually introduced his daughter to the ruling class. Okay, like it was already there that everybody knew Rajia Sultan because she was so efficient. She was very efficient and able warrior. Okay, so and a lot of talents she had, but unfortunately she fell to the conspiracy. But here if you apply the logic, the answer is Rajia Sultan. Okay, you can think now, who could Iltutmish mark the name of that person? Like, who could it be? Not no other than Rajia Sultan. So this was a easy question for me. This was an easy question. Here also, this question you can see that for the following statements regarding Gandhi's concept of Satyagraha are correct. Okay, so again I'll read the statements. So here you can see that for Gandhi, Satyagraha aimed to penetrate the barriers of prejudice, ill will, dogmatism, self-righteousness and selfishness. So here you can see that if you ask me, there is no clarity whether this is a correct or not. Like for me, again, this is a correct statement, but I'm taking it as I don't know. Okay, so I'm taking it with your perspective. So Gandhi explained the effectiveness of Satyagraha in terms of the spiritual impact of suffering, love. Again, no clarity. Okay, Satyagraha was considered by Gandhi as the ultimate tool of humiliating the opponent. Okay, so was it an humiliating opponent? What was Satyagraha? Satyagraha was actually the it was a kind of seeking for truth. Okay, so can anyone humiliate someone just for seeking truth? Like, you have to think about this statement. So for me, this is not a correct statement. Okay, again, like whenever you are sure about a particular statement, you straight away you come to the option. Okay, so we will eliminate this option and this option. Okay, so here again, see, Gandhi's political realism triumphed over his moral idealism, and despite its claim to the contrary, his satyagrahas were not always purely spiritual in nature. Is this correct? For me, this is correct because Satyagraha and non-violence was actually, like, it was not practiced in isolation. Okay, first thing you have to understand that Satyagraha was not practiced in isolation. So the thing is that after eliminating C, I have two statements, first and last. So here you can see for me D is a correct option. So even if you are not sure about A and B, here is the answer for you. Okay, so like Satyagraha already, as I discussed, Satyagraha was actually it was complemented by the practice of non-violence, the practice of constructive works, okay, and a lot of philosophical backgrounds. Okay, so it was not purely spiritual in nature. You have to think about these things in the exam hall, but I know this is difficult, but the thing is that you have to think about it, otherwise it will be very difficult for you to attempt the questions. Next question here is Iswara Krishna was a Vaishnavite teacher from early medieval Odisha, king of Assam in the 8th century AD, a philosopher, one of the 6 systems of philosophy, a lawgiver of medieval India. For me, this is not a very kind of easy question. You have to think a lot about this. Okay, so maybe if he was a lawgiver, we might have known like known him, like the Manu and the other people. Okay, so for me, like I can eliminate this option. Okay, but the thing is that, do you think that he was a king in the 8th century Assam? I don't know. This also I don't know. This also I don't know. But the correct answer is that he was a philosopher of one of the 6 school of philosophy in ancient India. Okay, and he actually codified this philosophy of Sankhya, and he belonged to the Gupta period. Okay, so he was in the 5th century, not in the 8th century, and he was not in Odisha. He was centered in Patliputra rather. Okay, like since the center of power was in Patliputra, we can associate him with that particular city. Okay, so for me this was a difficult question again, and this question also, see, if you see now in most of the question papers, you will see that there is a question on the schools of philosophy. Okay, so for me this was a difficult question. The correct option is the third one, and here you take a cue out of this and you focus on the 6 schools of philosophy. We have already discussed about religion and philosophy in ancient India. If you have not watched that video, you go and watch that, and also do further studies in that, because since see, I have only taught you the basic things about this Sankhya philosophy and the other philosophical schools, but they are asking questions in depth. I have not discussed about this Ishwar Krishna, but the thing is that they have asked it. So here you can see that now they have asked about Sankhya philosophy. Next time they can ask about some Nyaya or some other philosophy, Vedanta philosophy. Okay, so the thing is that except this philosophy, you read about the other philosophies in a little bit depth, not too much depth. Okay, next question is chronologically arrange the Muhammad bin Tughlaq's experiments and projects. Okay, so see, actually when I was reading this paper, like I already said that I was in this paper, I attempted this question, but the thing is that I was not sure which thing happened first. Okay, so the thing is that see, if they were asking about the experiments did by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, it would have been easy to select the options from here. Okay, but the thing is that they have asked the chronology. So here you will see that this is the first question on chronology. Okay, just see how many questions they have seen and they have asked on chronology. So this is the first one, and this is of difficult nature. So if you are wondering, this is the correct option. Okay, so you can see that I will share this in the group. Okay, here again next question is that, again this is a pure fact. Okay, just let me read it out. He took keen interest in debates, and when Srinath defeated his court poet Dindima in a deputation, he honored the former with the title of Kavi Surbhuma and bathed him in gold coins. Identify this Vijayanagar ruler. For me also this was a very difficult question, because I don't know this much fact about Vijayanagar kingdom. If you know, it is very good, but for me, whenever there is an option Krishna Devaraya, okay, I will always mark that question, that option. Okay, because they have done immensely to the development of the Vijayanagar kingdom, and they were very famous. They did a lot of lot of things and they introduced a lot of policies. Okay, so it was Devaraya 2. Okay, so like as I said, I would have been going through this statement. So for me, Devaraya 2. Okay, wait. Next question. Again, this is a difficult question. Okay, I'll just write it here. This is a difficult question for me, but when applying logic, this was easy. Wait, yeah. Next question is this one. Okay, actually we have to see this. This question is of very easy nature, and you will get to know about this. Why? As I said, like again, as I said, it is option which make a question tough, not the question, and not the topic on which they have asked. So the thing is that if you see that which of the combinations of Indian revolutionaries abroad and their newspaper not correct. Okay, here you can see that this is about not correct. Okay, so whether you know about this Taraknath Das, Circular Azadi, Ramnath Puri, Free Hindustan, Indian Sociologist by Syamji Krishna Verma, these I know that he has written. Okay, here Indu Bhushan De Majumdar, Gaelic American. So I'm not sure about all the three, but I knew about only one literature, and this got me the correct question or the correct answer. So the thing is, here you have to select the incorrect options. So in our statements or in our option, C should not be there. Okay, and if C should not be there, then we have only two options. Okay, this one and this one. So I'm not sure. For me, this is a 50-50 question, but again, you can go either with 1 or 4, but the correct option is 4. All the other literature are wrongly matched. See here, as I said, this is I think the second or third question on literature. Okay, you will see how many questions they have asked on literature. Okay, so one question I already showed you on chronology, and not only one, two actually, if you consider that Ibn Battuta question as a chronological question. So here you can see the next question. Here, yeah, again on Rajia. So Rajia's accession to the throne of Delhi was marked by which of the following features? Okay, one by one I'll read. People of Delhi had for the first time in the history of Sultanate decided a succession issue on their own initiative. Therefore, thereafter, the support of the Delhi population constituted the main source of Raja's strength. Here lies the main point. Okay, and again, so for me this statement is correct because she was supported by the people from Delhi. She gave her. Okay, so let's come back to the options. Okay, so if I include the statement 1, I can eliminate one option. Next, she gave her accession the form of contract when she asked people of dispose her if she did not fulfill their expectation. This is also true. So for me, B should also be there, so I can eliminate this option as well. It shows the robustness of Turkish mind in accepting a woman as ruler. Here is the main deal. Okay, so you might be thinking that okay, Turkish were not so good in giving the space to the women. Okay, but the thing is that the court culture and the other things, like the Turkish were they were very good in mind for accepting women as a ruler at that time, and it actually Raja was opposed by the that kind of that ruling class from the other places. So for me, I was not sure about this, and you can also take a 50-50 call on this, but for me this was a moderate question. Okay, so you can take a 50-50 call on this. Actually, this is the correct option. Next question is that chronologically arrange various farmans, memorandums issued by Mughal emperors and nobles. This is the third question on chronology. Okay, so if you see that they are asking chronology in the form of policies now. Okay, so sometimes they will ask about policies, sometimes they will ask about the chronology of rulers. So here see, Akbar's Farman to Ramdas, Raja Todarmal's memorandum on revenue. So these must have been in the initial phases. If you know this, so Akbar actually overtook the power later on. Okay, so this should be in the initial phase. Okay, so for me next is Farman to Muhammad Hasim, Farman to Rasik Das Karori. I don't know. Okay, I don't know about the other three, but the thing is that if you place the statement B in initially, so you just cut it into two half. Okay, if you cut it into two half, you are only left with two options. Okay, so you can have a 50-50 call on any of the two options. So this is how I solve question in the exam, and this is how I was asking you to learn about the nature of questions they are asking. Okay, so this is a difficult question, pure fact. We cannot do anything with this question, but the thing is that if you have an understanding of the time, you can always eliminate one or two options. Okay, next is that Laja Homa was a part of. Okay, again Laja Homa was a practice of kind of it was like doing havan and putting some rice in that. Okay, so in every marriages you will see in India, but we are not aware of the terminology it was used in the ancient and medieval period. Okay, so the thing is that if you don't know about the terminology, then it is a very difficult question for you, and this is the correct answer. It was part of marriage ceremony. Okay, so here the terminologies are important from culture, from administration, and a lot of things with the chronology which define the nature of that particular thing. Okay, so you go through the terminologies which was used in the form of the culture, and in the form of administrative units, in the form of a kind of particular philosophy. Okay, so the thing is that terminologies are important, chronology is important, literature is important. So you just go through all the chronological aspects, all the literary aspects, all the terminological aspects from ancient to modern, and you will easily get 10 to 15 questions from there. So here next question is that Apararka, the famous commentator on Yajnavalkya Smriti, was the king of. See, if you know this, it is good, but I don't know this. This is a pure fact from ancient India. So the correct answer is Silharsa dynasty. Okay, but actually I didn't know this. If you know this, it is very good. So for me, this is a difficult question, and this was also a difficult question for me. Sorry. Next question is that here I'll read this. At some times and places there will be no roads, docks, harbors, canals, works of irrigation, hospitals, school, colleges, printing presses, unless the government establishes them. Here, this line is important for us. The above quotation from John Stuart Mill's or J.S. Mill's Political Economy refers to which policy adopted by the company. So here you have to do the word breakdown, and this is a very easy nature of question. Indifferentialism, what is this? So you have to be indifferent, like you don't care actually what is happening in the masses. So this cannot be the option. Mercantilism, you already know that this is related to the voyages and discoveries, and after that the Europeans were supplying their goods. Okay, so this was the mercantile policy and it was called the mercantilism. Okay, so in that also, if somebody is sending goods, if a geography, like a country is sending some goods in B country, I don't think there is anything to do with the development of infrastructure, canals and the other things in the country B. So for me this is also incorrect. Laissez-faire means accessing the trade. So this is also somehow related to mercantilism, and these are same for me. So if I'll do the word breakdown here, interventionist policy is the correct answer. So this is an easy nature of question for me. You have to do certain word breakdowns in these type of questions. So here is the correct answer. Next question here. Okay, which of the following sultans in his farman used to address the amirs as Masnad-e Ali? Okay, again this is a very less known fact. You have to use logic, and for me this is Bahlo Lodi, because if this was practiced by the famous rulers like Balban, Kutubuddin Aibak and Firoz Shah Tughlaq, then we would have know this. Okay, so we would have knew this. So for me, lesser known fact, lesser known ruler rather. So again you have to be careful with that. So if there is some progressive statement that like this particular ruler has worked for women and the kind of things, you have to be always with the most popular ruler in that option list. Okay, and if there is a less known fact, you have to go with the less known ruler. Okay, so this is actually the terminology which was related with addressing the amirs. Okay, so again you see that they have asked about the terminology. Okay, the royal orders issued by Rashtrakuta kings and recorded by their secretaries were known as, again this is a difficult question, I don't know about this. So this was called Rajshravitam. Okay, this is the correct answer, but I don't know this. Again this is a terminology, again this is a terminology related to administration, and again I don't know this. So the thing is that not everything is needed to know. Okay, so the thing is that you don't need to know anything, like everything, but again in here you have to do that blind guess. Okay, so we cannot do anything with this kind of terminologies, like terminological questions. Next is that, like this question, even after doing word breakdown, I was not able to do this question. Here but with the word breakdown you can eliminate this adhikaran word. Okay. Next question is that you have to again you have to match the following, as I said, with the literature, historiographical literature, and here you can see that there is the few very known names here: Catherine Arnold, Gauri Viswanathan, Sabyasachi Bhattacharya. So it shows that how you have read in your masters. Okay, whether you have gone through Sabyasachi Bhattacharya's books and all. Okay, and whether you know that on which kind of work Gauri Viswanathan works. Okay, so if you know that, this is an easy question. If you don't know that, this is a very difficult question for you. Okay, so here again you have to play the 50-50 game. Okay, so if you see that only I know about here is that Sabyasachi Bhattacharya's Vande Mataram. Okay, and also, so okay, let's see. Yeah, here there are two options. So if you know only about Sabyasachi Bhattacharya's Vande Mataram, the biography of song, in which he has actually discussed, he provided the biography of the song Vande Mataram from the publication of Anand Math, and later on, like how it has evolved and how it provided a base for the national movement. Okay, so you can play 50-50 here if you don't know. Okay, and here you can see that because I knew both like Sabyasachi Bhattacharya and Gauri Viswanathan, but still I was only on 50-50. So this is why it was a moderate question for me. Even like I was not able to do it properly. So for me it was a moderate question, and the correct option actually, so correct option is this. Okay, so Catherine Arnold actually wrote this Pandemic 1918. So after knowing that, you will be able to do it. Sometimes it will, sometimes if you know only one person's name, you will be able to answer, but sometimes it will be difficult even if you know two people's writings. So for this, I'll be reading the next question. Regarding Maratha relations with Nizam al-Mulk, which of the following statements are correct? Again, they have given the statements. So here I will read the statements one by one. Okay. So as the Viceroy of Deccan from 710 to 715, Nizam al-Mulk resisted the Maratha claims for Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. Okay. Okay, here it's a pure fact. In January, why I am reading like after like leaving this statement, because these two statements are of same nature. A and C are of same nature, and whenever you will see two statements of same nature having same kind of facts, then it will be a case where either of those options will be correct. Okay, so either A or either C will be correct. Let me read. In January 1721, he had his first meeting with Vajirao. We don't know, but one thing is sure that these kind of chronological questions, like options, only one will be correct. Okay, so here you can play yeah, here see, if I eliminate A, means I will be left with option 1, and if I will eliminate C, then I will be left with 50-50. okay, between second and fourth. So here again, to get to the question, to get to the answer, I will be reading the other two statements. So after his successful rebellion against Sayyids, Nizam al-Mulk respected the imperial firman granting the Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of the Deccan. This statement is true if you have read that Maratha invasion of Deccan. Okay, so if you know about those things, this statement is correct. Okay, the most important point of conflict between Maratha and Nizam al-Mulk was Karnataka. Obvious hai. Okay, so this is the most obvious thing, that this was the central Deccan on which all the things were going on. So for me, B and D must be there in the option. Okay, so if you like, either if you eliminate B, any of these two, if you know the fact, and if you know the fact, it is very easy that you go with the first statement. Okay, here B and D both are together. In any other option, there is no relation between B and D. Next question here. Which of the following dynasties traced its origin from Asura Nadaka? Again, I don't know about this question. Okay, but the thing is that we have to see the statements and options, because we don't, even if we don't know about the fact, we will be able to do certain questions correct. Okay, so the thing is that Palas of Bengal. How do you know Palas of Bengal, how they rose to the prominence? You must have heard about that story that locals of the Bengal region actually elected that Gopala as the ruler. Okay, so why he will trace his dynasty to Asura Narka? Why? So this kind of logic will have to apply, that certainly B should not be there. Okay, so if you eliminate B, then you will be left with option 1 and 4. So you can play a 50-50 game here. This for me, this was a moderate question. Even if I don't know about Asura Narka and what, like which of these actually trace their origin from Asura Narka. So I don't know. Then even if I don't know, then I'll be able to answer this question. Maybe 50-50, but the thing is that I'll be able to go at least closer to the option. So actually this D option is correct. Next is that, yeah, here you see, arrange the following Gujar Pratyahara kings in chronological order: Mahendrapala 1, Mihir Bhuj 1, Nagbhat 1, Nagbhat 2 and Vatsraj. So if you don't know about the fact, since I know this was a very easy question for me, but if you don't know, it's a moderate question for you. Why? Because one person you already know about is Mihir Bhuj. Mihir Bhuj actually belonged to the later part of Gujar Pratyahara kingdom. Okay, so you can place the option B and you just strike through the middle of these statements, and you can either go with statement B or statement 2 or 4. So you can play 50-50 game if you don't know the chronology. But for me, this was an easy question, because I knew that Nagbhat first will come first, and then Vatsraja will come, and then Nagbhat second will come. So accordingly, I'll put Vatsraja first and then Nagbhat 2 after that. So where these two are like D and C, you'll have to find this. Okay, but here you see the statement 4 is correct. Okay, because I knew that D and C will be together, and D will be first here, and then it will be C. Okay, so if I knew this was a very easy question for me. But if you don't know, it was a moderate question for you, so I'll write moderate here. Next question here, who played an important role in the distribution of Gautam Buddha's Sarir Dhatu, means relics, after his parinirvana? I uploaded that lecture on art and architecture in ancient India. I discussed that the stupa architecture were having some sort of relics of Buddhas, and a lot of things we discuss. If you have not watched that, you go and watch that. But the thing is that this question is pure fact, and we cannot do anything about this. Okay, so actually less known fact, less known person. Okay, for me this was a kind of easy question, but it will be very difficult for you if you don't know the kind of actually how I say that if there is a very less known fact, you can go with the very less known name, and if there is a very progressive statement, you can go with the very kind of famous ruler. Sorry, because I have enough experience of solving PYQs of UGC NET, because I qualified UGC NET 4 times before qualifying for JRF. Okay, so every time I was sitting in the exam, I was qualifying UGC NET, and in this cycle also, in this exam which was happening in November 2021, I just missed the JRF by only 0.445 percentile. Okay, the cutoff was, I think, around 99.5 percentile, and I got 99.05 percentile. Okay, so here also I missed, and one more time I missed the JRF by 4 marks. Okay, so the thing is that I attempted this the paper again and again, and I got that understanding. I got to read the examiner's mind, how he will frame the option. Okay, so it's a simple logic. Why somebody will be asking you this statement which is of pure fact, and which is of this much depth, in that depth the research researchers also don't know, the researchers who are doing particular research on that particular topic will also find it difficult to know such facts. And why they will ask you? It is simply that they ask you to go through this kind of facts, to go through this particular person, and to go through the facts related to the relics of Gautam Buddha, and you can, maybe it will help you in your research, okay, later on, if you are doing research, if you are doing that PhD. So for my understanding, if you read the examiner's mind, the paper, the person who sets this kind of questions, it will be very easy for you to have a kind of that strategy which will be able to do the question even if you don't know the fact. Okay, so remember, less known fact, less known person, or less known thing, okay, in the option. And if this is a progressive statement, means somebody did very good things for Shudras, somebody did very good thing for the backward people, and somebody did some good work to for the women, then you can put you can select the most famous personality in that, okay, in the option list. Move back to the, again this was a difficult question, move to the next question. So here, the earliest extant example of the Mughal bluster columns, okay, bluster columns are found solely in which of the following Mughal emperors fortress places. So actually the thing is that you have to read about the features of architecture, which I'll be like in the second part of that art and architecture in ancient India and medieval India. I think it will be coming in the third part of that lecture, that I'll be discussing about the Mughal architecture. But here you see, they have directly asked from the feature of an architecture, okay. So bluster columns are actually see, if you see in Taj Mahal, this is the main dome, okay. So in the domes, in the pillars, you'll see that there are small domes, and those were supported by small pillars. And in Taj Mahal also, apart from that, there were windows, and on the windows were supported by small pillars, round pillars. Those were called the bluster columns, okay. So those bluster columns, actually the problem here was that I was not sure who actually used it for the first time or the earliest extent, okay. So I knew what it is, but I didn't know who actually used this. So the correct answer here is Shah Jahan, but I was also not sure. For me, it is a difficult question or moderate question, okay. I'll write moderate rather, because I knew the feature. So here, next question is that which of the following texts were authored by Kashmiri poet Kshemendra or Kshemendra, whatever you read these. But here, if you see, they have again asked about the literature, okay. So I think this is the fourth question, I guess, from the literature, fourth or fifth, I don't know, okay, I don't remember now. So if you see, again they have asked about the literature, and if you know the fact, see here, one thing is sure that this, wait, okay, here, this Prabodha Chandrodaya was written by someone whom I knew, okay. So this, and again Kshemendra I didn't know like which literature he wrote. But the thing is that Prabodha Chandrodaya, I knew like somebody wrote, and like it was in my background knowledge, okay, rather you can see. So on the basis of that, I eliminated this option, okay. So on the basis of that, I eliminated this. So with that, I was able to do it in 50-50. But the correct option is that like I don't know whether I was able to do it correct or not, but the thing is, this is how I thought in the exam hall when I was giving the exam. So correct option is B, or the second. So this was and this literature was written by him, B and D, Kaila Vilasa and Samaya Matrika. So you can, like, here also you can read about this fact and you can apply it later on, but for me this was a difficult question. Here again, which of the following Chalcolithic sites is in Rajasthan? This is a very easy question if you know. Okay, so this is Ganeshar. For me, I just mark it straight away, but for you, you already know that from Iran inscription in Madhya Pradesh we know about the practice of sati for the first time, and this was in 510 CE. Okay, so Iran must not be there, so you can eliminate this option if you know. This is a very important fact. Sanggaon or Sanghol, this is in sorry, this is in Punjab and this is not in Rajasthan. This also I knew. Chandoli is in Maharashtra. This is also a Chalcolithic site. Sanggaon is also a Chalcolithic site. Okay. So for me this was an easy question. If you don't know, it might be like you can play a 50-50 between Chandoli and Ganeshwar, but the thing is that you should know this kind of thing. You should know the geographical locations of the sites. Okay, and okay, so do you know that where the site of Kalibangan is there? You just comment down in which state the site of that Harappan site of Kalibangan is located. Okay, this is just for the revision. And also, if you know, what are the important artifacts we got from there, what are the evidences we got from there. Okay. Next, which of the following statements about Chokha Mela are correct? Okay, for me, I didn't know about this Chokha Mela person. Okay, but one thing I knew that this, like, he was a very famous kind of personality in that a kind of that second round of Bhakti movement or the North Indian Bhakti movement. Okay, and he actually belonged to a very kind of I think he belonged to the lower caste. Okay, so these things I had the idea about these things. So let's read about the statements. Chokha Mela was a Varkari saint. I don't know from which sect he belonged. His poems express devotion for Vitthal. Okay, as a great devotee of Vithala, after his death, his samadhi was built inside the Vithala temple at Pandhaur. So, isn't it a kind of a paradoxical statement that he belonged to a lower caste person? He was okay. That leave that fact. Okay, even if you don't know anything about this, with this you can conclude that he was a Bhakti saint. First thing. Second thing, why his samadhi will be inside the temple? Because he was a Bhakti saint. For Bhakti saints, religious structures are not important. This you have to understand. Okay, so for Bhakti saints, religious structures were not important. So for me, this was not a correct statement, and if I eliminate this, I'll get my correct answer, A and B. Okay, so for me this was a kind of moderate question because he was a very less known personality for me. But one thing I was sure about is that he was a Bhakti saint and he belonged to the lower caste in Maharashtra. Okay. But it was not helping me because here they mentioned the exact fact, and yeah, and here also they equated him with the devotion of Vithala. So if you have a kind of background knowledge, you can have some questions correct. So next question is that, yeah, we are already like more than 1 hour, so okay, we'll do a few more questions, maybe till question number 50, and then we will do it in the next round. Okay, so in the next part we will do the rest 50 questions. Which of the following statements regarding interpretation in historical writing are correct? Okay, so one by one I'll read the statements. Interpretation as an essential step in historical method seems to be lie beyond criticism and exposition. Okay, clear? Not. Leave it if you don't have any clarity. Read the next option. To know what a document means is as much a challenge to critical judgment as to whom, when, or by whom was it written, or whenever one may trust it. For me, this is a correct statement, and this was again and again highlighted by various scholars, including E.H. Carr. Okay, so he gave that fish and that fisherman example. Okay, if you're not well aware of that, you go and read that book called What is History. Okay, so here for me this is correct. The literary exposition of historical data is greatly conditioned by the interpretation one places upon them. Okay, yeah, this is also correct. Interpretation is very important for a data, because if, like, see, we already again and again give this logic that this is a glass which is having half water. Okay, one can interpret it as this glass is half empty, and one can interpret is this glass is having half of this glass is having water, like half glass water. Okay, so interpretation is like how the literary exposition of a historical data is greatly conditioned by interpretation on places upon. So okay, so the data we get in the historical kind of things, or literature or anything, it is bound to be dependent on interpretation. Okay, and this is what E.H. Carr also told about in that fish and fisherman example. Okay, if you have not read that, you go and read. And one more thing, if you can comment down if you know, if you want me to do a certain kind of review kind of videos on this kind of historiographical books like E.H. Carr, The Idea of History by Paul Collingwood, and Mark Bloch's Historian's Craft, and many more. Okay, so I can do that. It will take some time because I don't get time for uploading the video and recording the video, so it will take some time. But the thing is that if you want it, you just let me know, I'll do it. Yeah, so next question here given below are, I have discussed the answer or not? Okay, so here the correct, see, this is not the correct one. Okay, so for me these two should be there. Okay, B and C. So B and C are only in third option. Okay, I will not read this one. Okay, next question. See, you might be finding it very difficult to approach this kind of a statement and region question, but this is actually only a 3 option question. Okay, I will not consider one option after reading these two statements. Okay, I'll tell you why. When All India Women's Conference began their campaign in support of the Child Marriage Bill 1929, Sister Subha Lakshmi gave evidence before the Joshi Committee about the harmful effects of youthful marriages. Okay, it might be true, we don't know. Mitu Ben Petit, a social worker who became leading trade unionist, organized the Seva Mandir to work among the poor. Do you think if I'll place because here and then these two statements will be enjoined? Do you think? I don't think so. So here the thing is that both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A is absolutely wrong, because these two statements is not having any kind of relation between them. Okay, so this is why I told that this is only a 3 option question. So if you know the facts, it is very good. If you don't know, I don't think anything can, like, here I'll suggest you to see, since both of these are very factual, you can go with any of these 3. correct option is this one. This first statement is true and second statement is not true. This is a moderate question for me since I was able to eliminate one option. Okay, because of that reason I have placed it in a moderate category. Again, here again, see, they have given the name of the writers and all. Okay, so again you see the literature they have asked. This is 6th question in on literature, I guess, till now. So 5th or 6th, I don't remember. So but we have encountered a lot of questions like this. So here see that I have actually idea about this Chatur Varga Chintamani, and it was written by Himadri. Okay, I only had an idea about this literature. Okay, so let's see if we can eliminate few of the options. Okay, we can eliminate this option and this option. So we can play a 50-50 here, but the correct option is second. I don't know whether I got it correct or not, but this is how I thought. So I'll place it in a difficult category again. Next question. Which of the following are included among the 7 limbs of ancient Indian state? Do I need to discuss this question? You don't know about that 7 limbs of ancient state in Arthashastra. So here you see that Yuvraj were not the part of that. Swami means the king is important. Amatya, ministers are important. Janpada means the land is important. Okay, so these were an important component of that 7 limbs of a state. Okay, Yuvraj, whatever that ruler's son is doing, it was not the subject of Arthashastra. Okay, so the thing is that you can easily eliminate this question. For this for me this was an easy question, and for me, except for D, this is the correct option. A, B and C. Next question is that poems classified as Upadesha Rupaka or didactic metaphors in Marathi Bhakti poetry were known as. Again, I don't have any idea about it. It's a pure fact, and if you'll ask me, I won't be able to discuss it. Like I won't be able to give you that thing. And I don't know about this. Okay, I have not heard about it. So, but the thing is that you have to again focus on the terminology. This is the 6-7 question we are dealing on terminology. So again and again they are asking about the important terminologies from the past. Okay, so this is Vachana is the correct option. no wait, this is not the correct option. This is Bharud. I was thinking about Vachana later on, like in the exam, but maybe I marked it wrong. But here you can see that this is a very difficult question. Okay, you can put it in difficult category. Next question. Here, John William Kai, Mary Carpenter, Ramesh Dutt, R.C. Dutt, Valentine Shirol. So I cannot help you if you have not read the basic books people do in their masters. Okay, I cannot really help you. This is a very easy nature question. So for me, that Ramesh Chand book, that R.C. Dutt, he wrote the economic history of India under early British rule. Okay, so let's see if we can do it with only one option. Then I'll discuss the rest of those. Like for these two I know. Okay, these two I can like think about that, but the thing is that these two I know. I read about them. So here, see, Ramesh Chand's C should be with 2. Okay, only one option we have, so we don't need to go into this like this more. Okay, if you are very sure. So this is a very easy nature of question. If you don't know this, I am really sure, I'm really sorry, I cannot help you. Next question is again Again, this is author and book. Many times I told you. So see here, few of the books. Sanjay Joshi, I don't know, but for these three I know. Okay, so it is all on you that whether you want to know that. This actually, these three people, I already wrote a lot about them, and I already wrote few of their literature in my masters. Okay, so the fourth option is correct. You can just go through it, and if you want, you can just go and read the at least read the reviews of these books. Okay, that will help you to remember the books. Okay, so I'll just suggest you to whatever literature they have asked you, go and search the reviews of those books and read about that. Only it will take only 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, more, not more than that, and it will help you a lot in your exam. Yeah, here, who among the following kings mentioned in Raj Tarangini personally went to a leather worker, Charmkara, with a request to get a small piece of land of his cottage needed for construction of temple of Tribhuvana Swami? Okay, so here, let me see what are the options. Avanti Varman, Chandrapida, Tarapida, Muktapida, Lalitadida. One thing I'm sure is about these two are not, like, I have not read their names in the context of the rule of Kashmir, okay, or the kingdom of Kashmir. So our options might be from these two. Okay, so you can play 50-50, but this is the correct answer. Chandrapida. Arrange the following organizations chronologically from their date of establishments. Okay, again, this is a very easy nature of question. If you don't know, it is very difficult for you. So here, first thing is that this was established in 1920. You have to know that Lala Lajpat Rai played an important role in that. Okay. Second thing is that this Indian National Trade Union Congress, this was at the time of independence, somewhere around that. Independent Labour Party of India, this was by Ambedkar in 1936. You must know this. Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, this was renamed like that in 1928. Okay, so if you don't know about this, it is fine, but if you don't know about these three, it is not going to help you in the exam. Okay, so the correct option here is second. Okay, you can do it with your own. Next is, with regard to the Mughal finance system, which of the following statements? Okay, this is very easy nature of question. I will put it in easy nature. Okay. Next question is with regard to the Mughal finance system, which of the following statements are correct? Okay, one by one I will be reading the statements. There was a well developed system of finance and credit in Mughal India. You don't know this? It's okay if you don't know this. Use of hundis or bill of exchange was widespread. This is a correct statement. You might have heard about the hundis, or which was referred many times. Okay, so the thing is that this is a correct option, like this is the correct statement, so you can eliminate second and fourth statement. Okay, so let's proceed further. There was no insurance system. This is a kind of extreme statement. Okay, hence risk of loss in transit were very high. Okay, even if you don't know, it's fine. Transport across land was itself costlier. Okay, that is fine. Transport across land was costlier because traveling on land is costlier. This is a general kind of understanding. It was more vulnerable to exaction of chiefs and rebels. Maybe because sometimes some of the chiefs will rebel, and like some of the chiefs will loot your things, and like it has a lot of things to do with the transport from one boundary to other. Okay, you have to understand this. So technically this statement is also correct. So you have to have an option which is having both B and D, and that we have only one statement. Okay, so this was an easy question, all based on understanding and elimination. Okay, next is, any patient of Madras Theosophical Society asserted that in ancient times Hindu women were educated and moved freely in the society. Maybe, but this is a progressive statement, so the chances are high. Okay. But here they are asking about an incorrect statement, not true. Okay, so until and unless we'll get a kind of thing that which is like, which we can surely tell that this is not correct, we will consider this kind of progressive statement as correct. Okay, the Arya Samaj of North India strongly supported the cause of female education. This is true. Hunter Commission report of 1882 recommended more liberal grants in aid for girls' schools than for boys, and special scholarships and prizes for girls. We don't know about this, so this fact we don't know, but this is also progressive fact. We will think about that later on. First thing is that this cannot be our option. Okay, this is correct. That thing we already know. Next is, Keshav Karve was against the education of a high caste Hindu widow. How it can be? Because he worked about the widow remarriage, their education and all. How it will be like this? So this is our option. Okay, this is the correct option. Next question is which of the following rulers reigns the bullion currency seems to have, they should have written here bullion, to have nearly entirely replaced silver coins. So if you read about, like, if you are taught about me, taught by me, then you must know that in the 14th century it was the paucity of silver. Okay, so 13th 14th centuries were having paucity of silver. Only when the Europeans came, and then only the silver came into market. Okay, so here you can see that you can eliminate early rulers. Okay, so see this is an example of a very easy topic, but a very difficult question. So here, see, they have placed the rulers in a very kind of like close options are there. Okay, so you can eliminate the early rulers. Okay, Balban you can eliminate, but what about the other three? Aladdin Khalji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Okay, Khalji also you can eliminate if you know that. Okay, so after the slave dynasty, the Khaljis took over the power. Okay, then again you will have problem with these two. Okay, so the thing is that this is the best example that an easy topic will have, like, can have a difficult question based on the options they will place. Okay, so here the correct option is Firoz Shah Tughlaq, but the thing is that it is difficult for me also. Even if I teach this topic, it is very difficult for me to choose between Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Next is, so for me this is a difficult question. I write here D. Again here, Digambar Biswas and Vishnu Biswas led which of the following moments in 1859-60. So this question is pure fact. If you don't know about it, we cannot do anything about this. But for elimination, you can see that, like, you can eliminate Faraji movement and Munda rebellion. Okay, if you don't know anything about this, so you know that who led that Munda rebellion and Faraji movement was, obviously it was kind of it must have been some Muslim names. Like, don't go into that, but the thing is that this is how you have to think. So for me it was a straightforward question, an easy question. These were the Mundas, Indigo Rebellion or Indigo Revolt. And one more thing is that you have to think about this chronology. Okay, when that Indigo Revolt happened, then when Munda Rebellion happened, when Kuka Revolt happened, and when Faraji movement happened. So with the this chronology also, you can easily answer this question. This is a very easy kind of question. Next is here. Again, match the list. So here Nizami Anjum, Tafut al-Hind, Dabistane Mazahib, Risala Mikdariya, and these you have to deal with this subject matter. Okay, so actually I also didn't have any idea about this literature, but with the word breakdown I can solve it in a very easy manner. So okay, so Anjuman actually means constellation or a star. Okay, so see, deals with current weights and measure, Hindu astrology. So astrology is something which is related with stars. Hindu prodigy and rhetoric, different religions and sects of India. So these could not be there. So here you see, if I'll do the word breakdown, I'll be easily able to do this question, and option 3 is correct. Next, here, which of the following Sailendra rulers are known to have had friendly relations with their contemporary Indian kings? Okay, so if you don't know, like they were Sailendra rulers. Sailendra dynasty was not in India, rather it was in the Malayan Peninsula. Okay, and since it was in Malayan Peninsula, it is all related to the trade relations with India. Okay, so the thing is that only one thing I know about them is that Balaputra Deva inscription from Nalanda belong to those people. Okay, so Sailendra rulers. So let's see if we can eliminate this question. Okay, so only one option we can eliminate. So we cannot do anything in this kind of questions. This is for me, this is 33.33 marks. Okay, or the like 1/3. Any of these three will be correct, but the correct option for this question is 4th, B, C and D. Again as I told you, in these kind of statements where very less known known fact they are asking, it is very like either you go with all 4, either you go with 3, like any of these 3. So you can easily eliminate two kind of options. Okay, if it was like 3 options and 4 options, then it would have been difficult, but you can go with the most number of options they have given in that particular question. Next question is who founded the autonomous kingdom of Hyderabad? Do I need to tell you who adopted this title? Asaf Jahan. Comment down who was that person who established the independent kingdom of Hyderabad and took the title of Asaf Jahan. Okay, so this is the correct answer, and I won't tell you that this is which kind of test question is this. So this is a very basic fact. This is an easy nature of question. Next question is that in which of the following texts are the Sabha and Samiti mentioned as 2 daughters of Vedic deity? Here one thing I am clear is that in Rig Veda Sabha and Samiti is mentioned, but I'm not sure whether it is mentioned as the 2 daughters of a particular Vedic deity or not. Okay, here since Atharva Veda is related to ritualistic practices and the other things, like you can consider this option as well, and you can consider this option as well. Okay, but the correct option is 3, Atharva Veda. Okay, I was not thinking about these two statements, these 2 options. Okay, so it was, for me it was like I marked I'm very sure that I marked Rig Veda in my paper. Okay, when I was sitting in the paper, but the correct option is Atharva Veda. Next question is again, see here again you have to think about that. Supreme Council of Governor General in Calcutta gave extraordinary powers to special commissions to capture and punish rebels of 1857 in its 14th of June Act 14th of June 1857. Okay. The primary aim of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's cause of the Indian revolt 1858, then a government sub-judge, like he was on that post there, was to show the loyalty of Muslims who in the years following the rebellion were viewed with suspicion and disfavor. So actually if you see, like I don't know whether you have read, I had one dedicated paper on 1857 revolt, and in that we actually gone through Syed Ahmad Khan's writings, and according to that this statement is true that he did not wanted Muslims to be kind of treated as an enemy. Okay, so this is how he interpreted that. So okay, so first and foremost kind of thing you have to do here is that whether you have to think whether this is an explanation, these two statements are having any kind of relation. You put because here and see whether this is an explanation of this, because if you will put because, then it will be a continuous of this first statement. I don't think there is any relation, so you can easily discard this statement. Okay, we have three statements. For you, if you don't know this fact, it will be 1/3, but for me this was 50-50 between yeah, here A is not correct, this one, and R I know that it is correct, so for me either second or 4. Okay, so this was a 50-50 affair for me, and this is the correct option. Few more questions are there, I'll just quickly discuss that, and next like at least 50 of these I'll discuss today and 50 in the next part. Okay, which female social reformer wrote the short stories Sultana's Dream and Avrod Bhasani, criticizing the customs of Parda among Muslims? I'm actually really not sure about this. Okay, so this is a pure fact, and it was Begum Rokia Sakhawat Hussain. So again this is 7th question. I think this is 8th or 9th question on literature. Okay, and we are not like even we have not completed 50 questions, and in that only they have asked about like 8 9 questions on literature itself. Okay, so you can see how you can prepare for this exam. Next is again a statement type of question. When a soldier died showing exemplary valor while fighting for the king, he was granted land for the livelihood of his dependents called Mrityu Karvriti. Okay, this statement is correct. Okay, so it was in the Chandela time, but we'll have to we'll have to read the other statement. This a Chandela inscriptions record the grant of such Mrityu Kavriti. Okay, so whether they have inscription on that or not, I was not sure. So for me, I would have been playing 50-50 between statement 1 is true and this one, but the correct option is this one. Both the statements are true. And also you can see now, you can see this it doesn't seem like this is a correct statement by reading. Here you see, which of the following Sanskrit intellectuals of 17th century had relations with the Mughal emperor Shah Jahan? Okay, so here what we can do is that this is also pure fact, but okay, Jagannath Pandit Raj. Okay, so I knew about this person. He belonged to the emperor Shah Jahan. Okay, he wrote something in that age, and so if we'll consider him, we can have 3 options, but again I don't know. So here, yeah, the correct option is B and C, which is 3. Kavidra Chare Saraswati. I was not sure about that Saraswati. So this was about. Okay, so I'll stop here because we have already completed 50 questions. Okay, we can continue here, but the thing is that we have completed 50 questions. In that if I have to eliminate, there were around 18 questions or 17-18 questions which was of easy nature, and this I actually wrote. Okay, so after that, moderate type of questions were having 15, and 18 questions, 17-18 questions were of difficult nature. So if you can see that, I would easily tell that if you are missing out on low hanging fruits, so here you will be getting only again easily 36 marks. Okay, and these are low hanging fruits. I call them the low hanging fruits. So if you are missing out here, it will be very difficult for you to qualify. Okay, so you have to get all of those correct with a minimum error. Okay, so if you are getting like out of 17-18, even if you are getting 15, means 30 marks, it is very good for you. For moderate question, you have to get at least 50-50, means out of 15 you have to get 7 correct, means 14 marks. Okay, and in difficult questions we have 18 questions, so here you can get like 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 is fine. So out of 18, if you are getting like 4, 5 or 5 or 6, okay, so let's say 5, so 10 marks here. So in total it is 54 marks, and this is only the first part. Remember, in the second part we will have, I think, 2 questions, I think 2 passages of 20 marks, means 10 questions, I guess. Okay, at the end of this paper. So these 10 questions will be of very easy nature. If you are missing out here, it will be very difficult for you. You can easily get 7 to 8 questions correct from here, means you can add 16 more marks into that. So you are easily in 70. So out of rest 40, like only you have to do is that you have to get at least 20 out of this correct. Okay, this is the mathematics, and this is how we actually I approach the question paper. So for me, this was a moderate to difficult question. This was not so easy question, because we only get 35 questions of easy nature. Usually it should be more than 40%, but the thing is that 30-35 questions will be of easy nature, and accordingly the cutoff will be decided. Okay, so I think I scored around I think I scored 178 in that paper, or 76, I guess. Okay, I am not sure about that. So, and I missed the cutoff by 0.45 percentile. Okay, I cannot write here percentile. So I got 99.05 percentile, and the cutoff was 99.51 percentile for JRF, for general category. Okay, so here you can see that it was very kind of difficult for getting JRF. So in the next part we will be discussing from here on. Okay, so yeah, here question ID, this one, from this question ID 677 we will be discussing our question paper. And remember, what are the takeaways from this question, this discussion? First thing, literature of 2 kinds, historical and historiography. You have to go through this. There were more than 10 questions from this part, only out of 50 questions. Okay, so this should be the first priority. Second priority should be chronology. Okay, there were 7 to 8 questions from chronology. The third thing is that you have to check the statements, and in that what we have discussed, absolute statement are usually incorrect. Absolute means they will say that okay, this is only the thing. Okay, means they will stress a lot of weight on that particular statement. So those kind of statements are usually incorrect. Second thing is that less known fact and less known personality or terminology. Okay, this is how you have to match. These are usually correct. Progressive statement, are usually correct, and this you have to match with the famous rulers, not the less known rulers. Okay, remember this kind of thing. Okay, few more tricks and tips I'll be giving you after finishing this paper. Okay, so again 1.5 hours paper we'll be discussing again in the second part, and probably I'll upload that video tomorrow. Okay, so for the time being, those who are interested in preparing that UGC NET exam, you can join our Telegram channel. I'll be giving that description of that group in our the description of this video, and you share these videos with the people who needed this. And thank you for today, and tomorrow I'll come up with the second part of this 2021 paper, and I'll try to do one or two, at least one or two more papers. Okay, so that you will have that fact check whether whatever the things I am telling you is correct or not, whatever the observation which was made by me is correct in the context of the questions or not. Okay, so 2-3 more questions we will discuss before your exam on 28th of June. Okay, till then, thank you and take care and keep reading, and I'll put this PDF in our group. Okay, thank you.